whole moment of New Glenn's liftoff, seeing that just like massive rocket start to breathe and shake when the engines light up. And, you know, people have asked me about the payload that was aboard that day. Talk about that. Where is it now?
Yeah, the payload that was aboard New Glenn is our Pathfinder for our Blue Ring, and in fact, it's still up in orbit. It's going to be in a permanent orbit with the second stage, and will remain up there basically forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
So amazing. So we're looking forward to, of course, what's next with New Glenn, as well as these ongoing flights for New Shepard. So, hey, we're still in a hold here, 20 minutes and counting. Let's take a moment and check back in with our mission control team and see if they got any updates for us. Welcome back, everybody. This is the NS-29 mission, our 14th flight for a payload flight on New Shepard program today. As you can see, we are in an extended hold here. We are waiting for a good weather opening. As you can see, there's a lot of cloud cover going on in Texas. We want to make sure that the conditions for the weather are just right for flight today. I know personally, I am looking forward to seeing whatever we might be able to see from the camera views on the ground of the Lunar G spin technique that we're going to do today. So, I mean, definitely we want to see clear skies if it's possible. But as you can see, it's a lot of cloud cover. We're just assessing the conditions right now with the weather before we decide to fly. So bear with us. We're going to keep waiting for this hold as the team looks for a good opening today. All right, welcome back, everybody. As you can see, we've been in 30 minutes of hold almost here as we are assessing the weather conditions for today's launch. We want to make sure we're flying with just the right conditions. So the team is looking at that information. It sounds like they're not loving what they're seeing so far, but we are going to keep standing by to see if we can find a good window for this flight to be able to lift off today and have a successful flight to space. So stand by with us. We're going to keep viewing these great live views of our rocket getting ready on the pad today. We'll be with you. Welcome back, everybody. We are still wading through this hold as our team assesses weather conditions for today's launch. And, on the topic of weather, we have a team that is, very faithfully working in the background, assessing weather conditions. And there's a lot that goes into making weather decisions for New Shepard. New Shepard, of course, is unique in a lot of ways for a spaceflight program. One of those ways that it's unique is that the entire mission profile happens right here on Launch Site 1 in Texas. From launch to landing of both the booster and the separated capsule, they all land right here. So it's really important that the team is able to kind of assess all the continuous weather conditions right here in Texas for the launch. So why don't we take a look at what goes into making some of these weather calls for New Shepard.
On a launch day, we give several go, no-go recommendations based on how the forecasts evolve throughout the morning. You have subject matter experts in every subsystem sitting in front of their consoles, intently monitoring everything going on to make sure that the astronauts are launched safely. My name is Andrew Kellenbeck. I'm a guidance, navigation, and control engineer.
My name is Sean Hansen. I'm the launch weather officer for New Shepard. If you're looking for sunny conditions and lack of precipitation, West Texas is one of the best places in the United States that you can have. But we want to verify the weather at the time we have a phase in the launch. So we'll send a balloon up. Weather balloon is one of the best meteorological tools that we have. It provides us instantaneous data of what's going on in the atmosphere all the way up to 80,000 feet.
The guidance and control team on New Shepard has decades worth of atmospheric and wind forecasting data that we've collected ourselves over the years through the release of radiosonde balloons that Sean was discussing, and also from our government and commercial weather data sources. We're now able to predict the capsule landing location to about a half square mile, and this is over a 25+ square mile landing area. That is very, very accurate. The winds, of course, pose an issue for the capsule in terms of where it will end up landing, but it's also a huge factor in the booster landing performance. A lot of times we see wind shears during the final descent of the booster that cause it to have to readjust its position just prior to touchdown. So we're looking very closely at the winds at the lower altitudes to make sure the booster can accommodate those changes.
Best part of working at Blue is having the opportunity to be a part of something special. And just watching these amazing people put this whole sequence together and get a rocket off the ground, it makes me really excited to be a part of it.
My favorite part of working at Blue is the opportunity to work on something that is far greater than myself, that will last generations, and really making an impact on the history and future of human spaceflight.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into making these weather calls. Every time I see that video, I'm reminded about all the complexity that the team has to be able to track as they're looking for all the right weather conditions for flight. So,
Yeah, and it's not necessarily just what you see, from the ground. There's a whole layer of atmosphere that we have to go and make sure is good for New Shepard. We rely on that to make sure that we have a safe launch and land for the booster and capsule. So lots of work that goes into predicting weather and assessing weather on launch day.
Now, I can say from the camera side, we have these long-range cameras that are sitting on the ground ready to point up at the rocket and watch it in flight. Once it does pass through a cloud layer, we have, infrared cameras to be able to kind of look through that. And that's why if you've watched these broadcasts before, that's probably what you might remember noticing is sort of these funny colored views that are infrared cameras that are picking up heat signatures from the vehicle that are on the other side of the clouds. So that's possible too, but it's always nice to be able to fly on a completely clear day. You just don't always get that. So we're hearing from Mission Control. They're still waiting for these conditions there's a potential window. They're holding it open for this window. So stand by, bear with us. I know it's never fun to wait through all these holds, but sometimes you just got to wait for the right conditions. So we're going to keep standing by here. Let's toss it back to New Shepard as we check in again with our Mission Control team. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're still waiting through this hold as the mission team assesses weather conditions for today's flight. While we're in the hold, let's take a moment to recognize some of the people who work at Blue, the individuals who drive our amazing programs here at Blue. We've got such incredible technology and such an important mission here at Blue. Overall, the mission that guides us. But we're always like to say it's the people of Blue that make this place truly great. So let's now take a moment and introduce you to one of those very special Team Blue members.
It's a privilege to work at a company that makes quality rocket engines. Using a combination of CNC and laser cutters, I produce and install parts on our engine nozzles. I love what I do, and I'm honored to be a part of something so historic and unique, especially when I see that engine light up. I'm excited to wake up every morning, knowing that the work I do every day will lead to millions of people living and working in space. I'm Darren Threet, a welder and laser operator at Blue Origin, and together we are building a road to space for the benefit of Earth.
Yeah, Darren's work at Blue is a great example of how he supports our important company mission, and I can tell just from the footage there he's doing that from the Huntsville location where we manufacture. It's our high-rate manufacturing for our engines, our factory there, and that factory did such amazing work last year as we kind of ramped up production on readiness for NG1, as well as supporting the ULA's Vulcan flights as well. You know, Blue's a place where we have big ambitions, and to meet all that ambition, we're continuing to grow as a company. We have positions open across our manufacturing sites, including Cape Canaveral, West Texas, the Seattle area, and Huntsville, Alabama. So, of course, we want to remind you that if you want to consider joining our mission, we need great people across so many of the verticals and so many locations here at the company. So please do us a favor. Check out those job listings.
While always looking to the stars, we're curious. And now we're at a place where we can pioneer new horizons. Now is the time.
New Shepard has cleared the tower.
To open the promise of space to all.
Yeah, guys, we're doing it!
And lay the way for generations to come. When our descendants look to the stars, they'll remember this time. When they reflect on where it started, they'll remember this place. And when they honor those first explorers who said, "Let's go," they'll remember these bold steps. We are of Blue Origin. And this,
Let's do this, New Glenn.
is just the beginning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our live broadcast on today's New Shepard Mission 29. I'm Joel Eby, and with me is Alice Watts, engineer on the New Shepard program. Alice, welcome.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for having me. I'm thrilled to be here and excited to share another great New Shepard launch with you. Today marks the 29th mission overall for our New Shepard flight program, and it's a really special one. Today, it's all about the moon. We're going to be spinning up the capsule to simulate lunar gravity for our payload customers on board.
It's so cool and totally unique. The first time we've ever tried to do this. The program's come a long way, and note that this is the first New Shepard mission since our inaugural New Glenn flight into orbit just a couple weeks ago. So now New Shepard is one of 2 active launch systems at Blue Origin. What a time.
I know, so crazy. That launch was incredible to watch. We've spent years looking forward to that moment, and now it's an all-new era for Blue.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think, I was there in Florida for that launch, and we were able to enjoy, hearing the BE-4 engines lighting up from the factory for the first time. Such an epic achievement for Blue Origin.
I'm sure you could feel it as well.
Yeah. I mean, you could feel the whole building shake, and I mean, it was a little bit of a delayed reaction when the sound finally reaches the building just a few seconds later. Here's a cool video of that. You can see the whole team at Blue celebrating the moment of liftoff. I love seeing this clip, the amount of passion that Team Blue has to be able to, you know, all join in. This is, by the way, this is in the middle of the night when they all kind of showed up at our auditorium there in Kent and cheered on the liftoff of that rocket. Such a cool moment. So much passion from Team Blue. Congrats once again to the New Glenn team for reaching orbit on our first attempt. So getting back to today's flight, Alice, lay the groundwork for us. Tell us what's going on here.
Yeah, so there's no crew on board this one today. We're flying another one of our signature payload flights, though.
Yeah, and one remarkable thing about our system is that our capsule and engines and our boosters, they're all completely interchangeable between different vehicles. So you might remember we launched an all-new capsule and booster combo recently on our NS-27 mission. Today we're flying the reusable booster from that mission, but the capsule that we use for payloads is in action today. That one's been in flight since 2017. It's seen a lot of space action so far.
You're right. That capsule's had 10 flights so far, and overall this will be the 14th payload flight for the program. And after today, we'll have flown over 175 payloads to space.
Amazing.
We now have 3 capsules and 2 boosters in service to better address all of the demand for our payload and astronaut customers.
We're already seeing that happen. You know, we've flown 47 people above the Kármán line so far, and that accounts for nearly 7% of all astronauts to date. It's a thrilling time for space exploration, and for all of us here at Blue Origin. All right, we're at T-minus 12 minutes to go here. Let's talk about what do we have on board today.
Yeah, this flight is carrying 30 payloads, 29 of which are inside the crew capsule, and 1 of them is on the booster. Now, over half of these payloads are funded by NASA's Flight Opportunities Program. They're testing innovations critical to achieving the Artemis's program goals and exploring the lunar surface. The other half of the payloads come from universities and commercial providers. These are also testing innovations that advance various lunar efforts.
It's all about the moon. And speaking of testing, 4 of these payloads are from Honeybee Robotics, a Blue Origin company. The team there is doing some really, I'd say, some groundbreaking work, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would. After all, these technologies are all about breaking ground on the moon. Specifically, they're about lunar regolith, or the soil of the moon. They're researching how we'll excavate and process that soil. Honeybee is doing a lot of great work for us right now, as well as paving the way for future lunar exploration and habitation.
And if you've been following Blue, you know how important all this lunar research is for our mission and vision. So, hey, big shout out to the Honeybee team for all their incredible work. So let's get into a little bit more of the science here with this lunar spin technique. Alice, lay the groundwork for how we're going to do this.
Yes, so let's imagine spinning a bucket of water around in a circle, let's say. And the water stays pressed against the bottom of the bucket as you spin it because of the outward force created by the spin. Now, this force is called the centrifugal force. When the capsule spins today, everything inside will feel pushed outward towards the wall of the spacecraft. This outward force mimics gravity. Now, to simulate lunar gravity, which is about 1/6 that of Earth's gravity, the capsule's spin speed is carefully controlled. The faster it spins, the stronger the force. So the spin is calibrated to match the weaker pull of gravity on the moon. Now, this isn't real gravity, but rather a force that feels like gravity because of the spin. Today, we will be spinning at 11 rotations per minute. And compared to our normal spin rate of 1/2 a rotation per minute, today's will be a much more intense spin, 22 times more intense to be specific.
That's pretty significant. And think about that. We're able to do this testing only 62 miles away from Earth, or that's where the Kármán line is, 100 kilometers, rather than having to go, you know, all the way to the surface of the moon, or 240,000 miles away. So this testing is much more achievable. And tell us, like, what kinds of testing are we going to be doing within these payloads?
Yeah, I just want to note that we have entered a hold here, so we'll watch that clock. But to talk specifically more about the payloads, let's imagine what it would take to go back to the moon. Now, this time to stay. What kind of technologies are required, and how would we do those tests here on Earth before the voyage? Well, you'd need to cover these 6 crucial areas: in situ resource utilization, or ISRU, dust mitigation, advanced habitation systems, sensors and instrumentation, small spacecraft technologies, as well as entry, descent, and landing technologies. It's quite a full range of lunar testing we're able to do.
Yeah, and the fact that all this proves these technologies, we can prove these technologies at a lower cost on New Shepard. It's kind of another step towards Blue's mission of radically reducing the cost of spaceflight. And up until now, if you wanted to simulate the moon's gravity, you could only do that for just a few seconds using centrifuges or parabolic flights.
Yeah, and with this new capability, NASA can now expose their payloads to lunar gravity for a significantly longer duration, about 2 minutes today, and they're capable of testing much larger payload sizes. On top of all of that, it allows research to get their test results back the same day, just a few hours right after the capsule lands. So yeah, New Shepard is not just a launch vehicle, it is essential for the testing of technology that will make a sustained presence on the moon possible.
Well, thank you for that groundwork there. All right, we're coming up here. As you acknowledged, there's a hold going on here with the clock. We're about 2 minutes into the hold. We expect the mission control team soon to be ready for to do the go poll to proceed into terminal count, but they're going to have to clear this hold first. So we are going to toss it over to the rocket as we get a little bit more information about what's going on. So stand by, and let's visit New Shepard out of the pad.
And we have ignition on both the 3U's. Chamber pressure is good. GS2 is now orbital.
We've got to orbit safely. Congratulations, Blue Origin. Y'all have gone orbital.
You know, I personally will never forget that moment where the camera zooms in to see those 7 BE-4 engines all lit up together.
I know, those mock diamonds were crazy. I've seen them during an engine test down in Texas, but like 1 engine, not 7 engines.
Totally.
So to see them all together on the vehicle, clustered like that, you know, creating that beautiful pattern, you know, it's just breathtaking.
Yeah, totally. I mean, for so many years, you're, you know, building this vehicle. I mean, my team is the content team at Blue, so we're, you know, creating like animated packages showing what New Glenn's going to look like when it's flying. There's only so much you can do to imagine it, though, ahead of time. And when the moment that I saw those mock diamonds all appearing together, kind of took my breath away as well, just because it's like it surprises you with what the reality of all that power together is like. You know, the whole moment of New Glenn's liftoff, seeing that just like massive rocket start to breathe and shake when the engines light up. And, you know, people have asked me about the payload that was aboard that day. Talk about that. Where is it now?
Yeah, the payload that was aboard New Glenn is it's a Pathfinder for our Blue Ring, and in fact, it's still up in orbit. It's going to be in a permanent orbit with the second stage and will remain up there basically forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
So amazing. So we're looking forward to, of course, what's next with New Glenn, as well as these ongoing flights for New Shepard. So, hey, we're still in a hold here, 20 minutes and counting. Let's take a moment and check back in with our mission control team and see if they got any updates for us.